And another thing you have to understand is that when you're fasting, there are certain things that are expected of you, which is point number 5 now. You have to make sacrifice and be humble. You can't be seeking God and looking up to God to do something for you, and you're not doing the thing right. You can as well not fast. But the moment you're fasting, you have to understand that that time of fasting is a time for you to be a blessing to people, according to Isaiah 58:6. Is this not the fast that I have chosen, to loosen the bonds of wickedness? It is the time that to undo heavy burdens, to let oppressed free go. So any fasting you observe that doesn't bring changes to your life, as in change your way of life and make you holier, remove unnecessary burden for you, and you experience some drastic changes as as the Bible terms, being set free from oppression, then you have not fasted. So it is your humility before God that makes deliverance to come into your life during fasting. It is your humility before God and the sacrifice of giving up food for that season, intentionally, purposefully, skipping meals and being in the place of prayer. Those are the sacrifices. The sacrifices is you skipping meal, deciding to put up the good countenance, and you making sure that if you're doing the fasting in secret, those are the sacrifices, and you remain humble before God. The first 3 items we highlighted are the sacrifices required for fasting. And when the sacrifices are in place and you could do it in humility, then your fasting will be answered by God. The next point, you have to understand that fasting is a state of heart. It is a heart condition. You have to condition your mind that fasting is important more than any other thing, that you want to keep the rules. It's an heartfelt sacrifice. It must come from the bottom of your heart. If you remember, we said it is voluntary and it has to be intentional. And you have to having understood that it's a heart condition. The next point is you have to be prepared and apply wisdom. Now that you know that it's a heart condition and it is something that you have to make up your mind on, and there is need for you to make sacrifice and remain humble, when you are able to do all of these things, that is when you will have freedom. Heavy burdens will be lifted from you. You'll be released from the hands of the wicked. That's why they say go and fast. Your enemies will not have time for you again. So for you to experience deliverance from enemy or from loads that have been placed on you or any form of oppression, you have to follow these key principles. Now, the Bible now goes further to make us understand that there are duties attached to fasting. The next point is key duties attached to fasting. Remember what we're looking at with the topic for today's Bible study is principles guiding fasting. So the points we are going to look at now, having understood the core principles and all that, there is an obligation on diet, on the fasting. What is your obligation? When you're fasting, you are expected to be a blessing to people. Feed the hungry. Take care of the naked. You know, Jesus said it in the book of Matthew 25. He said, when did I do all these things to you? And he said, as long as you did it to others, you have done it to me. So during fasting, make out time, be a blessing to the poor. He who gives to the poor lends unto the Lord. Make sure that your fasting is a time you're a blessing to people, materially, spiritually. Yes. So as you do all of that, it means that you understand the concept of fasting. You are no longer one of those who try to manipulate God by saying, God, I fasted 70 days, do this for me. No, it's not about the number of days. It's a function of keeping the guiding principles and doing things right. Another key principle you have to take note of is you don't jump into fasting. Just like you don't jump into anything in life. I've said it severally. Living is an act. You have to understand the act very well. So the act and the art of living, you have to understand it. There are two words now. The act, living is an act, living is an act. You have to understand both very well. And it applies to your spiritual engagement. You have to understand that fasting has to do with you also being prepared. The preparation we're talking about now is both physical and mental. So you have to create a place where you do your prayer undisturbed, do your Bible study during fasting. Don't render fasting to mere spiritual exercise. No, it's a life-changing process, as read in the book of Isaiah 58 verses. So to have a successful fast involves preparation, such as setting a clear objective. Know what you want to seek the face of God on. You want to pray about yourself. You want to pray for the ministry. You want to pray for your country. You want to pray for your children. You need to have a goal. Anytime you're fasting, there must be a goal behind the fasting. Just don't deny yourself for food and call it fasting. If it's okay, I want to pray that this ministry will grow. I can add fasting along so that, my mind, I will know that, okay, that is the goal for the fasting. And when I'm fasting, I'll keep to that goal. No, you have to have a clear objective. In life, everything you do, that's why living is an art, and an art you have to be objective, have clear objective. You have to set a schedule. When you're fasting, like we said, it has to be prayer focused. You have to prioritize prayer. So part of your preparation is, as a working class person, you have to know when to set aside for prayer during fasting. Maybe you schedule it that during break time, you quickly get into the corner of your office or your convenience to pray and read the Bible. So you have to have a schedule, and you also have to know, the schedule you want to maintain, so that God will know that truly you dedicated that time to Him. Then you have to also understand to do things in such a way that you protect yourself from harm. How does this come about? When you want to fast, break your fasting gradually. I remember when I was a young lady, my neighbor, somebody very prayerful, she fasted for 70 days. And when she was going to break the fast, she took swallow, precisely, and that's how she died. You're supposed to break your fast in such a way that you don't cause yourself harm. The first thing you take is water. After that, you take fruits. Allow the fruit to settle into your system. According to naturopathy, when you eat fruits, you give like a 30 minutes to 1 hour before you take the main food. That is when the fruit would have done its job in your system. And when the main food now comes, the fruit will aid its digestion. A lot of people eat fruits the wrong way. They eat it after meal. No. Water first, 30 minutes after fruits, or a few minutes after fruits. But fruits need 30 to 1 hour to break down in the system before you eat the main meal. It might not be 1 hour for everybody, but 30 minutes is basic. Bearing in mind that our body composition differs, that is the window of 30 minutes to 1 hour mentioned. So let's learn to break our fast right. So what am I saying? Still under preparation. You're fasted and you're going to break. Plan yourself. The water you use on breaking by 6 or whatever time you choose to break, let it be somewhere. You're fasting and the body has been deprived of nutrients. The few fruits you have to break with, keep it aside so that a few minutes after taking the water, you take it. You're gradually getting the body back to get the body system back on track. You don't overload the system. If not, the system will experience a shock. And when the shock is massive, it can be deadly. And so many other things like that. I don't want to overflow that, but it's very important because Christianity and fasting is 5 and 6. So we need to know all of that so that we don't make mistakes. Yes.